Making promises to find the success you've been looking for. A step-by-step approach that will get you to where you need to be. Roll it. Making promises is the theme of this series. We started off with explaining promises, how they all work with people, and of course, in the last video we talked about how to make a promise to yourself, keep it, and find the success out of that promise. Well, of course, we have many promises, so how does this all work together? First things first, we need to address what is happening in our lives, and what is it that's causing all that negativity, that cloud that surrounds us, that causes us to not be the best we can be. In order to do that, we're gonna make a list. This is step one. We're gonna analyze everything that we do each and every day, all the promises we've made, all the commitments, everything that we feel pressured to do, even though it doesn't serve the purpose that we need it to serve for us in that mission that we're on, in that direction we're moving to. This is everything. It includes everything we have promised ourselves and all the things that we're doing for ourselves, and of course everybody else in our lives. Family, friends, kids, colleagues, our work, you name it. This should be technically a long list. It should be all the stuff you do daily and then the things that happen every so often. Once this list is done, you want to add in there, what purpose does each thing serve? What's the value? What's the contribution it's making back to us? Is it a priority or not? And of course, how much time is it taking up? We must include in this list who's it for and what's the priority of them in our lives. Our step two is the second list of the things that we need to be doing, we want to be doing, and we have to be doing. These are the things that we know deep down inside we're not doing or we're not doing enough of, that we must start to do regularly. These are the promises that we want to start looking at as real promises that will bring benefit to us, that will be contributing in a positive manner to us. This list might be long, and the reason is that you're going to be looking at the things that are now, the right now, the present moment now, all those little things that you're saying, I need to be doing them now. And of course, all the things you want to be doing down the road, the things that you will need to be doing down the road, should these present moment ones work out. These will also include all the headaches that you have. For instance, debt, your health, things that are causing you to think about and stay up at night, the things that we need to start clearing out. So there are no more that negativity in our lives, but rather it's a positive feeling good that you don't have debt and that you are healthy, working out, and so on and so forth. Once we do this, well, simple economics. We need to look at it and say, well, we can't do everything on that list. Our step three here is, logically, we're gonna make a priority list. This list is the things that we, out of that big step two list, well, we need to be doing ASAP. We're gonna prioritize this list based on what positive purpose do they serve to us? What is the actual need, the want, and the have to, and how does it relate to the people that are in our lives? This is critical. There are people in your life that you need to prioritize for. If you have, for instance, kids, you can't just be like, yo, I gotta go take care of my debts, so deal with it. You know, bottom line, you have kids. You gotta prioritize them in there, so that priority list must have something for them as well. Once this priority list is complete, we move on to step four and we address the issue of, well, we need to start clearing out the clutter. That's right, the clutter. That first list is everything you're doing right now that needs to be, in a term, shrunk into non-existence. But we can't do it overnight because, of course, that is hard to do, and there's an emotional part of this that we need to deal with. There will be people you've promised stuff for, that you want to be doing stuff for, but you'll come to this realization as you start implementing more of your own priorities that you can't keep doing the things that you have promised for them. And you might have them high on your priority list, And you may run the risk of hurting them and in the process feel guilty about it. And this is a problem, of course, on an emotional level. It's the EQ that we always talk about. We need to maintain emotional control through it. You'll also have people that are high on that priority list that expect you to be doing certain stuff, and you really want them to like you or something like that, and it's really hard to go, hey, I really can't do this for you anymore. And all of a sudden, you realize that you won't be on their priority list anymore because you're not doing those things that you've promised to do. And that's hard because there's fear involved in that, of them being disappointed in you, and then of course not wanting to be in your life anymore since you're not serving a purpose for them. Which is what we need to understand here. A lot of the people in our lives, they're only in our lives because we're able to serve a purpose for them. And once that purpose is complete, you're no longer needed. I used to get upset because people would leave my life and I would question the why, and whether they met somebody, they met new friends, new relationships, they would deprioritize me, and I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing or a negative on them, it would be on me. I didn't do enough. It was the first thing that came to my head. I wasn't doing enough, or I didn't continue to do enough, or hey, I was too selfish. But I realized in the process that they weren't real friends in the sense of somebody who was selfless in that relationship, and they were happy to be there just because. They were there because I was serving a purpose for them. And a lot of the times, it wasn't because I was doing things for them, but rather it was filling up that void, that loneliness they had. They were looking for something specific in a partner. They were looking for something specific in a friendship, colleagues, again, specifics that they wanted. And when they found that, they were gone. I also realized when I took that thing away that they were prioritizing me for, it was often an emotional roller coaster with them. They felt like I was doing something that was totally horrible to them. And those people, I realized, were just toxic people. At the end of the day, what I found was the reality of what people actually value you for might not be what you want to be valued for. And at the same time, I realized that, man, I'm trying to get stuff moving in this direction. I'm trying to get my life in check. I'm trying to get my things in order. I'm trying to succeed in something. Do you not want that for me? Do you not want to support me through it? And then that would start taking over as a pain for me, until one day I realized it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, everybody cares about themselves more than they care about the next person. And when push comes to shove, very few people will be there by your side caring about you. Most will abandon you the moment they realize they're losing too much in the transaction of that relationship. This is critical to understand, and in this flow of things, what you will be doing is you'll be analyzing all of this. You will be saying, hey, I'm going to remove these things because a promise you may have made is going to take time, energy, and money, and you're going to have to replace that long list that you're doing each day with the priority list. And one thing at a time, you're going to be moving them over. Logically, you won't be able to do it all. So this will have to happen. As it happens, what you'll realize is two things. One, you either overestimated the promise you made to yourself, or two, you didn't remove enough things. Critical. And you may ask, well, Nico, I got too many things that are too high on the priority. And quite frankly, when we sit down with people who say that, we are able to really dissect things in an objective manner, not an emotional one. And once they start looking at things and they go, that really doesn't matter, or that person really doesn't matter, they're not providing the positive requirements I need in people in my life, it's a lot easier to remove those things. Accountability here is critical, and you're going to be doing accountability checks as you move forward. Every 2 weeks, you will sit down and say to yourself, how many times did I say, I promised myself I'm going to do this, and you went and did it? How many times did you not? and what stopped you. This will help you start eliminating more things off that list, for one, and two, start being more realistic about the promises you're making yourself. And over several months, what you'll see is a pattern emerge where you start trusting yourself more and you start to believe in yourself more. The self-limiting beliefs go out the back door, and the new formed, fully capable you becomes that person energized who sees the success they were looking for and goes and gets it. My friends, this takes time, and some people take years to do it. However, in the first 3 to 6 months, you will see fundamental change that takes you from one stage to the next in life development. Stuff that you have never been able to achieve before will be possible. This is a critical moment in your life when you make this decision. As in the last video, the word no will start to be verbalized by you, not just thought of. Hey, I don't want to do that. You'll be saying, no, I don't want to be doing that. And you won't be adjusting that big list. You will live by that list. You will be number one by that list. And as you continue down that process, this sense of self becomes evident. Awareness reveals itself in a way where you see who you really are and what you're capable of. The one thing you need to remember is to use those words. I promise myself I'm gonna go do it. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. Please share this with anybody that you feel needs to hear this message. Hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, leave your comment below. Leave your story. What'd you do different? What worked? What didn't? And of course, leave it in a way where somebody might be watching this video. They might read your comment. You might help change a life.